Hi, my name's Tom, coming to you from Asuncion, Paraguay. Today we're going to talk a little bit about why you should consider getting residency outside of your country of residence. This is primarily directed at U.S. citizens. I am a U.S. citizen and I have residency overseas. And a lot of my friends question why I have residency overseas. There are a number of reasons I did it, and we're going to talk about those. And in many ways, people have to make up their own mind about things. I'm not here to tell you that I'm right and you're wrong, or that there's no other options available. What I am here to tell you is this is what I believe, so please save me the flaming emails. If you disagree, just feel free to disagree. One of the reasons I actually have set up residency overseas is because America has become fairly intolerant of dissent. If you disagree with the political status quo, you're considered a bigot, a racist. If you believe that people should actually work for a living and that you shouldn't have to provide for them when they won't provide for themselves, you're considered cruel, you're considered unkind. You're considered undertaxed in America when you don't pay over 50% of your income in taxes. As a self-employed person in America, you'll pay approximately 28% in federal, you'll pay state, you'll pay over 15% in FICA and Medicare. You're going to pay over 50% of your salary once you start making any kind of a decent living, and then that'll drop off, but it's still going to remain extremely high. America, the last statistic I read from the Wall Street Journal, I believe it was 49.5% of Americans are now getting a government check of some type, government check, government money. 36% of working adults are not working, and you can't run a country that way. And so I and a lot of expats have simply decided that for us, we're going to spend a few dollars, take a little time, and provide an alternative in case things go badly. Now, most of the expats you'll meet do have some serious questions about America's future, but they're not conspiracy theory buff. They simply believe that it is an adult's responsibility to provide an alternative in case things don't work out in their host country. When I'm in America, I have car insurance, I have home insurance, I have disability insurance, I have health insurance. But what about freedom insurance? What about guaranteeing that if things don't go well, or that if you're not satisfied, that you can actually make an alternative decision and leave? You TV shows in America now, this video is actually being made in August of 2012. There are shows called Preppers, where people are preparing for doomsday scenarios. Most expats like myself and people who seek alternative residencies and even overseas citizenship are not looking to get rid of their U.S. citizenship. They're not looking to give up America, but what they're looking for is an alternative because they see that we're on an unsustainable path. The debt in America is simply not going to be able to be paid back. The tax rate would have to be so onerous it would destroy every business and every individual's finances. So at some point, the checks may stop flowing. And people like myself and other expats simply have an alternative in place so that if things did get bad, we could actually simply leave. Now, do I really think that's going to happen? Probably not. I do believe there's a 5 to 10% chance things could get ugly in America, especially when the people with their hand out find that the people who have been putting the money in their hand, who've been taxed to pay for their lifestyle, for their living, decide not to pay anymore. And that day is coming sooner rather than later. So politically, a lot of Americans, such as myself, are simply hedging our bets by providing ourselves an alternative freedom. Also, America has become very intrusive. Just look at your passport. If you have a new passport, it's got a computer chip, which they say can only be read at short range. Perhaps that's true. But Americans are tracked on cameras. We're tracked through our credit card purchases. I believe the founding fathers roll over in their grave and have something serious to say about the way we are treated as citizens. The police no longer seem to want to provide justice. They seem to want to ticket you and provide additional income for the police forces of their particular locale. So I believe that the government's on an unsustainable course, as do many expats, and I think many people watching this video. I believe that we're taxed, we're harassed, and that at some point we may make, you and I may need to make a decision to relocate. About half my friends, when I talk to my friends, half my friends think I'm nuts. I think my family thinks I'm nuts, but the other half of my friends think that, or wish that they could do it. And I'm here to tell you that you can. We teach people how to gain overseas residency legally. If you have a criminal background, for instance, we've had people come who have had violent crimes in their past, or drug crimes, or sexual crimes. If you have any of those types of things in your background, you won't be getting residency in Paraguay or anywhere else, primarily in South America. Part of the process is you're going to have to provide an FBI report. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly clean, but it better not have certain things on it, and we can advise you on that if you decide at some point you'd like to speak with us about how to establish overseas residency. In order to establish overseas residency, you're actually going to have to go there and possibly live there for a period of time, although that varies from country to country. We primarily focus on South America, so we can guide you in that. But for instance, in Paraguay, you're going to need to come down at least twice within about a 3-month period, spend 10 or 11 days each time to get something called a cedula. Your cedula is your permanent residency card for Paraguay. Your permanent residency card in Paraguay can actually be used to cross most borders in South America without having to use your passport. In addition, you can't get so much as a phone installed here without a cedula. It's basically a national ID card. So when you come down on your first trip, you will have to have done some prep work in America, which we'll guide you through. We're going to need things like legalized copies of your birth certificate, of an FBI report, of any divorce or marriage certificates. And we will guide you through that, but that all takes time. So you need to plan on at least a 3-month lead time before you come down. If you come down without the proper documents, you're simply going to be going back and making an additional trip. It is approximately 11 hours in the air with one stop typically, and so you don't want to make a trip down here needlessly if you don't have the correct paperwork. We'll make sure you're all lined up so that you have everything you need prior to coming down. When you get down here, our attorneys will run you around the various locations, and you'll make approximately 20 different stops. One thing about South America is they're big on bureaucracy. You will have your paperwork translated, it'll be legalized. From one department, you'll take that form to another who will legalize the legalization. It's a bit amusing. You do have to have a bit of patience, a bit of laughter in your heart. If you're very type A as I used to be, you're going to need to learn to relax because things move at a little bit different pace, although they actually do move fairly promptly. The government officials down here tend to be friendly. They tend to want to help. And our attorneys will guide you through it and take you through the process. So our attorneys will actually pick you up in their vehicle. They will drive you to the appropriate department or appropriate meeting. They will help you fill out the forms. They'll tell you what to say, all the different things you're going to need to get your cedula done legally. Once they have all the paperwork processed, you'll fly back home, if you want, you can stay. And in approximately 3 months, you'll fly down, complete some more paperwork with our attorneys, and then you will go ahead and get your cedula at that point. Now, if you want to try and do it on your own, you certainly may. If you speak fluent Spanish, and I mean really fluent Spanish, you can't be a beginner. And if you're willing to try to find the various locations all over Asuncion, you can do it. I think it'd probably take someone who speaks Spanish 4 to 6 months to do it on their own. So the fees we charge, I think you'll find is money well spent. So while you're here, we'll put you up in a nice hotel. We have a variety of hotels to choose from depending on the price point that you want. And once we get all the paperwork done, we'll get you back out to the airport. You can fly home and then make the arrangements to come back again. Once you have your cedula, that actually starts the time frame ticking to apply for citizenship. Now, the Supreme Court in Paraguay has made a ruling that requires you to be in the country for a period of time each year, a fairly significant period of time. However, as in the U.S., the Supreme Court doesn't make law, so the legislature here in Paraguay, and I have actually met with some of the politicians, are in the process of attempting to streamline the residency and citizenship process. So if you decide you want to get citizenship down the road, not that you need it, but if you want to get citizenship, you can have more than one citizenship. As a U.S. citizen, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 citizenships if you want to go through the effort to do so. So once you have a passport from here, you can actually travel on your Paraguayan passport anywhere in the world. However, when you go in and out of the U.S. and you're a U.S. citizen, you will need to use your U.S. passport. A lot of people are thinking about retiring out of the country. The reason people are thinking about retiring out of the country is because the lifestyle in America, if you have a limited income, is not going to be that good. My mother had $1,200 a month in Social Security and a small pension, and she ended her years in upper lower class lifestyle, struggling every day, trying to make pennies count. Whereas in a place like Paraguay, the average yearly salary is less than $5,000 a year. You come down here with $10,000, $20,000 a year in retirement income, and you're living well. And that's true in many places, in Asia and a lot of other places. So a lot of Americans, outside of being concerned about the government, are also looking for alternative residencies for retirement. And we're going to talk more about retirement in another video. The price for doing this varies. We will give you a complete outline when you decide you'd like to work with us, or before you decide you'd like to work with us. We'll help you open a bank account over here. Now keep in mind that even as a U.S. citizen, you must be tax compliant. Even if you live out of the country the full year and never step foot in the U.S., you are required by U.S. law to file a tax return, even if you don't owe any tax. And the deductions on people living abroad are fairly significant. At the current time, approximately $80,000. So you have to make a substantial income before you're liable for any taxes anyway. But under the law, you do need to file your taxes. Otherwise, you're looking at fines and possible prison sentences. And we don't want anybody to get in trouble. What we're looking for is to help people find alternatives just in case, and an alternative for retirement, and perhaps just if you like the feel of living abroad. If you like a culture that's family oriented, that has unlimited potential. The thing I really love about Paraguay is that it's at the point where America probably was after World War II. There are franchises here. There's McDonald's, there's Burger King's, there's even a TGI Fridays, there's Starbucks, but it's still in the pioneering stage. So there's a lot of opportunity for people of intelligence, business people who want to come here and open a business. Once you have your residency card, your cedula, you can open a business here and you can own land here. You can own land, you can do farming. There's a lot of different things that you can do that would provide you with a very nice lifestyle without having to go through the 9-to-5 grind that seems to be typical of the U.S. today. So what we're going to do is we're going to break right now, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about retirement in Paraguay.